We play so many roles in life. Some roles excite us, some roles exhaust us. We try our best, we show up every day to play these roles. We start to perform different roles for different people in life. The co workers see one side of you, your family sees another side, your partners, your friend, they see other side of you. We become all of these, and yet we are none of these. Maybe we are all at the same time. The trouble starts. I am Chandresh Bhardwaj, and this is Break the Norms. Namaste everyone, I hope you're doing well. I'm going to start this episode with a deep gratitude for all the applications that I'm reading for Leela School. One of the applications mentioned that they were in my talk 10 years ago in New York, and I had shared many times in those talks that I want to work on a spiritual school, and I hope I'll work on it soon. And Nicolette, if you're listening to this, thank you for mentioning that in the application, because that was probably the most heartwarming moment for me as I was reading the applications. The friends from college have been messaging me that you used to talk about it when you left the finance, that this is what you want to do. And I didn't realize it's been more than 10 years that I've been talking, sharing, planting the seeds of it. And I'm glad it took this time, because Leela, the way it has shaped up, it is beyond my expectations. And I had a very strong benchmark set for it, but it feels and looks much beyond than what I was envisioning. So grateful to all the forces who are making Leela happen. And if you wanted to apply for the school, do it today, because we can only take a limited number of students in the first round, and I would love to have you in the first round of Leela. So and by the way, just so you know, once you fill out the application, you will get on a video interview with one of us, and we'll just make sure that we are the right fit for you and you are the right fit for Leela. And getting to know you, getting to know your story is very important part of Leela, and will always be, because we do want to make sure that the collective consciousness that we raise in Leela, it benefits not only you but also empowers and heals the world around you. On that note, let's go into the topic for today. Taking off your mask. Such a beautiful thing, such an important thing, but how many of us really make an effort, to take off the mask? Sometimes we are not even aware about the mask we have on. And the interesting thing is, we do not have one mask on. And I'm not talking about the disposable or the fancy clothing COVID-19 mask here. I'm talking about the emotional mask, the mask thrown on us by society, family, religion, the culture around us. And I don't want you to look at the mask as a negative thing here, and because they are needed, and I'll explain why. They have a role to play. And to explain you better, I want to share a story that has been very profound, very impactful in my journey. This is a story of a king who was powerful, successful in all, possible ways. And the neighborhood kings would always wonder what exactly he's doing different that makes him this powerful. And one of his, strength was his emotional quotient, the emotional intelligence. And everybody was surprised always that how can he keep calm during the toughest situations? Maybe he gets the information before us. Maybe he has some secret sources, because otherwise you cannot be this calm and composed in the toughest situations. So the neighborhood kings were always trying their best to figure out what exactly he's doing, or what, different things he's doing. So to make that happen, they sent 2 spies on him, and the task given to these 2 spies was just figure out who are his sources, from where he's getting all this information that keeps him strong, calm, clear, confident, because it's just not possible. So these 2 spies got into the army, the staff around him, and they were part of his like circle in a few months. I mean, they are trained to do that, so they were with him, and they got into his life in a very interesting way, and they started observing him every single day. They could not figure out what he's doing different, and they started sharing the information with the neighborhood kings, who sent them to spy on him. And the neighborhood kings were like, this is not possible. Either you are not trying hard enough, or maybe we need to do something crazy with you. And if you know about the ancient kings, their punishments were pretty harsh. So it scared the spies, and they were like, give us one more chance, we'll do our best, and we will find out what is his source. So they started tracking him from day to night, and they noticed one thing, that he starts his day like everyone. He'll have breakfast, he'll meditate for a bit, he'll practice his whatever morning sports he's doing, morning rituals. He'll spend time with family, he'll spend time with his team, the management, he'll listen to the problems of people. It's a very usual another day in a king's life in the ancient India. So everything was very predictable, nothing different was there. But they were able to notice he is calm, centered, strong in everything he does. And then they noticed there's one part of the day, in the late night, he goes into this room. No one is allowed there. There's absolutely no one there. There's no army to protect the room. He has the keys for that room, and it's just him. Only the king has the keys. There's no person around that room. So the 2 spies thought, this is the room where he meets those secret sources, and if we can somehow get into the room or watch him through a window or some outlet, maybe we'll crack the code, because everything else we have already tracked and we couldn't find anything. So they somehow got a peek into the window that was into the room, and it was a big room, quiet room. Nothing was there. No human was in the room, no picture of deity, no temple, no meeting, no bed, no couch, nothing, just an empty room. And they were waiting that someone will show up maybe in few minutes, and that would be the secret source, the secret agent that the king has. But something very crazy started to happen. In a few minutes, the king started to meditate. He started taking off his clothes. He started laughing. Then he started crying. Like he was crying as if he lost something really, really precious. And then he suddenly started dancing. And then he again became quiet. And again he would go through these emotional, episodes, emotional releases. The 2 spies got scared. They tried to run away, and they made a sound, and the king got to know somebody was watching him. And he immediately, got hold of both of them. And king, the ancient kings didn't leave a room for the trial. So he told him, if you don't tell me who you are, why you were there, I'll just cut your head off in next 2 minutes. And the spies were like, no, don't kill us. We'll tell you who we are and who sent us. And they revealed everything, that we just wanted to know the secret source, and we could not figure out. And this was our last hope, and we still cannot figure out, but we are even more confused. And to be honest, we are scared. Are you going through some mental illness that nobody knows? Because Right now you're again calm and composed, but what you were doing there doesn't seem normal. And the king started laughing. He laughed for a few minutes. And then he said, I'll tell you what I was doing. And I hope you can also start to do it so that you don't have to do this job anymore. So the king said, I'm looked upon as this wise, calm, composed, loyal warrior, dependable king, loyal husband, good father, loyal friend, reliable, army man. And he said, I play all these roles with all my heart, with all my sincerity. And there is a lot of challenges, a lot of drama in all of these roles. But I show up for these roles every single day. But it's a lot to carry these roles. It takes a lot of energy. And I realize that I cannot continue to play these roles if I do not take off my mask. And I put on many masks a day. Sometimes the mask of a father, sometimes the mask of a husband, sometimes the mask of, just a listener, sometimes the mask of a king who will not be shaken by even the most scary news. And he said it does get tiring to play all these roles, to put on these masks. And I had to find a solution before all these roles drain me out completely. And the most healing and the most powerful solution I got was this quiet solitude space where I can be just me, where I do not have to play any roles, where I can invite the freedom to be myself, to express myself, to cry like a baby, to dance like a maniac, to sit like a monk. I want to be able to play all these roles without anyone holding me back. Sometimes I don't want to put any clothes and just sit like a small child in this room. And this is way more sacred than the temple I visit in front of everyone every morning. Because even in the temple, I'm supposed to play the role of this religious, seeker, a loyal worshipper. And over here, I worship my consciousness. I worship that unknown source that has given me this strength. And the two spies were just gazing at him, that we did not imagine this. We were not at all imagining this is what the source of king is. And the king said, from the time I have started doing this, it has taken away so much of heaviness, drama, so much of craziness that I had to go through playing all these roles with all my, energy and strength. Because when I show up every single day, people want me to play these roles perfectly well. They don't care if I'm feeling weak, if I'm feeling strong, if I'm not in the mood. They expect me to play the role with perfect strength, perfect energy. And in order to do that, I had to just take few steps, and this is the most powerful thing I do on a daily basis. And as you're listening to this, my question to you is, do you have a room, a time, a space where you can take off your mask and you can scream, dance, play like a child? I believe I shared this story of a student with you. This is an old story where I asked the student to go on a hiking, and when there's no one there, to just scream there and scream as loudly as you can, I believe I must have shared this in one of the episodes. And this was, a student who was angry, very angry at, life, angry with boyfriends, angry with family, angry with the job, angry with herself really. And she was going for therapy, trying to be that perfect meditator. And I said, stop meditating, stop going to therapy, and just go on hike and call me from there. And she was there, and I said, now scream. And she did. She was like, ah. And I said, this is not screaming. This is so embarrassing. I mean, scream. Do you remember you would scream as a child when you were not given your ice cream? So right now, your ice cream is not given to you. It's taken away from you. I want you to be angry, Be as angry as you can. Do not suppress that. Do not hold it back. Be angry and don't be afraid of that anger. And now scream. And when she screamed, I got goosebumps in my body, and I knew this is her new birth, and that was her new birth. She is on a very beautiful journey from that point onward, and she tells me that she goes on that hiking space very often, sometimes to just relax there, and sometimes to scream, sometimes to just cry, sometimes to write music. I need you to find your mountain. I need you to find your peak where you can do all these things which are not considered sweet, not considered maybe acceptable. And by that, I don't mean that you start doing just some crazy stuff and then, quote me. I hope you know what I'm telling you has to be done with absolute awareness, absolute conscious energy. One of the reasons why the Indian gurus and teachers have these names like Swami so and so, because their names are changed after they become the guru, after they become the teacher, and this name signifies a new role that they are taking on. And we all play these roles all the time, and Tantra teaches us a very simple thing, that play these roles but don't become these roles, which means understand the beauty of each role, understand the drama of each role, but do not be so identified with it, do not be so involved in it that these roles start to dictate your life, because if they do that, you might get stuck in one of these roles. And if you get stuck in any of these roles, that's when anxiety, depression, trauma, that starts to build up. Learn to move on from one role to another. Learn to take off your mask and just be who you are. Learn to play the roles with non-identification, and this will not make you abandon the roles or be less loyal to them. In fact, this will help you to play the roles with even more joy, even more sincerity, because this will help you to drop the seriousness and the ego that comes with these roles. You could be a doctor, a writer, an actor, or a yoga teacher, or someone who's still trying to figure out their life. See each of these roles as just a role that you're playing, and then you have a role beyond all of these roles, and that's the role of just being a conscious seeker, the role of a soul, a human who's just exploring, experimenting, and showing up for life. As you meditate, invite the freedom to play the roles unapologetically. Invite the freedom to play the roles with non-identification. Invite the freedom to play the roles with absolute awareness. And remember, when you play these roles, drop the seriousness and the ego, because these two elements will control the narrative of your roles a lot. And mind loves ego. Mind loves to control things, and there will be many moments when your mind will tell you that your pride is hurt in this one, or you should be fixing the energy in this role. But you really got to ask yourself, is it really worth it? And who's calling this shot right now? Is it my ego, my control? Because 95% of battles are not worth. And those 5% that are worth, you should go deep into them and don't worry about winning or losing, because those battles require you to show up. But for now, all I want you to meditate on is the roles that you're playing, and inviting the space where you can take off the mask and be like a child, be like a dancer, be like this receiver, be the giver of energy, and maybe be a nobody. The last podcast was about being a nobody, and I hope this episode will only strengthen the nobody energy in you. Do let me know how this episode unfolded for you, and you can of course consciously text me. The number is in the show notes. I'll see you next week. I hope this podcast may travel through the untapped universe of your darkness, light, courage, passion, and so much more. Please do subscribe and be ready to break your norms. I am so excited and very honored to be part of your sacred journey through this podcast.